This channel is all about building wealth and making money. So if you want to be like me and to be able to afford to buy a $60,000 truck with not having to get a loan, just paying for it in cash and still having money left over, well, following my channel is going to be the best way to get there. One of the best ways to get there. So for today's video, we are going to go over minimalist money habits. So let's go ahead and start things off. We're going to have a fairly long list, but I'm going to try to keep everything short to where it's very informative. It gives you what you need to know, but without a bunch of extra stuff that's not necessary. So we'll go ahead and start off with decluttering your finances. Let's go ahead and start with impulse buying. So a lot of people will impulse buy stuff. I get it, it's human nature. You're walking by a store and you see a shiny dress or a brand new pocket knife and you're like, man, that was made for me. Like, I just love that. It could not be any cooler. So you run in the store, you spend the money, you buy it, you put that thing in your car and it sits there for 2 to 3 weeks and nothing ever happens to it. Well, that is the sad story of most Americans. Impulse buying is such a waste of money. You're not doing any research beforehand to really make sure what you're buying is worth it, that you need it. So impulse buying, you have to stop doing that. The next thing that we're going to talk about is unsubscribing from marketing emails. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, oh, well, it's just spam emails. Like, it's my favorite store. I always like to see when they're having sales and stuff. But what you really want to do if you're trying to build wealth and get out of the materialistic, I'm going to buy everything and I need everything and everything's for me, you have to cut off that source. So marketing materials, we're doing 50% off this week, like the advertising that you get in your inbox. Unsubscribe to all of it. I don't care if you're getting a great deal, 50% off with the thing. The more you spend, the more you save. No, the more you don't spend, the more you save. So go through your emails, see if there's any marketing emails that you get from your favorite companies or companies you've bought from in the past. Go ahead and hit that unsubscribe button. Embrace free or low-cost entertainment. So just because it's Friday night, that does not mean you need to go out on the town and get drunk and spend all your money at a bar. It's just, no. That is just, if you're trying to build wealth and save money, that's the last thing that you need to do. Look for free options. There's, for example, so I live near Charlotte, North Carolina. Every, I think, Wednesday night from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., there's a museum in downtown Charlotte that is 100% free. Regularly, I don't know, it's $20 a person or something like that, but it's free, a free, like, upscale museum. I'm not talking about a little rinky-dink museum that you might find in a small town somewhere. I'm talking about nice art, super old art, different exhibits, always coming in and out. So look for free stuff. Go to a park. That's where I'm at right here. I'm at a park, and it was free to get into. Unlike South Carolina parks, where you actually have to pay to get into, which that's a story for another day. But look for free or low-cost entertainment. Going over to a friend's house. Like, hey, are you doing anything tonight? Can I come over? Go over there and watch a movie, make dinner, watch their dog. I don't know. There's tons of free things that you can do out there that don't require any money other than the gas it takes for you to get there. Now this one, I might have a few people that don't want to hear this one, but this one is cook at home more often. No, but I like going out to eat 3 times a week. It's just, after I've worked a long day, I don't feel like cooking. Well, if you don't want to be poor the rest of your life, the only time, I'm going to quote Dave Ramsey on this, the only reason you should see the inside of a restaurant is if you're working there. I cannot stress that enough. You need to cook at home. Go to somewhere like Aldi, a super low-cost grocery store. Don't go to Publix. Don't go to Harris Teeter. Don't go to Earth Fare. No high-end grocery stores. Look for Food Lion, Kroger, Walmart, places like that. Like, you need to buy more stuff, and it can be like hot dogs. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to make homemade lasagna from scratch 3 times a night. You don't have to get all the super organic, fancy stuff. Obviously, you want to take care of your body and not just feed it junk, but eat at home more often, even if it's just spaghetti. It will save you so much money compared to going out now where it's $50 for 2 people and $100 if you have a family. So here's another good one. Cancel unused subscriptions. So that would be if you have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, I don't know, all the subscriptions out there that you don't need, or if you're having your subscription of your laundry detergent coming, like cut out the stuff that you don't really need and get rid of those subscriptions, because most of the time it's not really doing any good. You're wasting money and you're probably not even utilizing it to its full potential. So cut out unused subscriptions, and even get rid of some of your subscriptions that you're not using that is not bringing value to you. Up next is review your investment accounts. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to tell you what to invest in, what's going to do well and what's not. I'm not a huge fortune teller, so I'm not going to be able to tell you what's going to make you rich. However, my investments, I'm currently invested in some of the top companies like Google, Microsoft, and VOO, which tracks the S&P 500. It's an index fund. If you don't know anything about finances, definitely do a ton of research, but review your finances. Make sure that that you're investing. 2, you're not investing more money than you're not willing to lose, or that you're willing to lose. You have to be okay with everything you're investing in getting ripped up and thrown out the window. Now, I know that's really hard to think about, because it's like, man, your whole retirement, your 401k is in one thing. But like for me, my 401k, it was in a retirement fund set for whenever I turned 55. But I switched that to an S&P 500 tracker because I looked at the difference, and the return from the S&P 500 was much greater. And with how young I am, it doesn't make sense for me to really be invested in bonds right now when it's so far away from where I need to be to retire. So definitely check your investments. Another thing that's super important, if you have 15 different 401ks, consolidate all of them into one 401k. You're paying 15 different fees to 15 different people. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt to roll over your 401k from one company to another to the other, but that's something that I recommend that you do. You want to be a minimalist. You want to have one account. You want to have everything in one spot where you can look at everything in one place. And when you have 15 different accounts for your 401k, it just doesn't make sense to not consolidate all of them into one place. Speaking of consolidating, this is also going to be an interesting one. So if you're married, you should have one bank account. Before you say, oh, my wife spends too much money, or my husband just spends way too much money. I mean, the problem is that you married someone that you're financially not compatible with, which can get fixed. But for those that aren't married, that are dating, before you get married, definitely talk about finances with your significant other to make sure you're both on the same page. At the end of the day, you really should just have one account, one checking account for both of you, for all your money to go in it. And that's the minimalist approach. If that's what you're looking for, consolidate to one account. If you need to go to counseling with your spouse to get on the same page about how much money to spend and when to spend it and where it should go, that's something that you should consider as well. The next thing you want to do is to do a lot of research. Make sure the credit cards that you have are actually the best ones out there. I know Robinhood Gold is offering a 3% cash back on everything. No minimums, no cutoff limits or anything like that. I'm currently on the waiting for list, waiting for that email where it says, you've been accepted, here's your new credit card. But make sure you do a lot of research and look at credit cards and see what they have to offer. I'm not a fan of the ones with rotating categories where it's like, oh, during March you get 5% on gasoline, and in February you get 5% on groceries. Like, for me, I just like a flat fee. Unless you're buying thousands of dollars of groceries, it doesn't make sense. And don't have 15 different credit cards. The minimalist approach you want to have is, you want to have like 2 cards. I have 2 credit cards, and that's more than enough. If something happens to one, I have another as a backup. I have one that offers 2% cash back on everything all the time. No categories, no caps, no limits, nothing like that. And then I have another one that offers 3% on gas. So for gas, I use one credit card. For everything else, I use the other. Like, it doesn't make sense to have 15 different credit cards. And do your research and check every couple years that the credit card that you have is still the one that's offering the best value and the best bang for the buck. Automation is a great thing. So we'll go ahead and cover how to automate your finances. Let's go ahead and start with automating your investments. So what exactly does that mean? So most places where you can buy stocks at, there's a way to set up reoccurring deposits. So let's say you make $5,000 every month, you can put $500 a month into Google or whatever stock it is, or index fund, or whatever it is that you want to invest in. That comes out just set that up to come out once a month. You could have it, you could also every day have $2. Like, if let's say you have money in your savings account, it's making a certain amount of interest, you can take the interest that it's paying you and invest that. So $2 a day, you could set up a daily reoccurring payment to buy $2 worth of whatever the stock is that you're wanting to buy. Automate it is a great way to make sure you're investing without having to think about it. Because if you're one of those types of people that if you have that extra money sitting in your account, you want to spend it, automating investments is a great thing to do. And you don't want to just dump all your money into the stock market and investments. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is making sure that you transfer money from your checking account to your savings account. Now, a savings account is something that is FDIC insured. And that's important. That's where you want to park the majority of your money. You don't want to park it in Bitcoin or the stock market or anything like that. Remember what I said earlier, you don't want to invest anything that you're not willing to lose. I lost $10,000 by investing in a penny stock that was doing really well, and then it just came crashing down and it's pretty much dead now. Would that $10,000 have done much better in a savings account? Yes, it would have. So that's important. Make sure you're setting up regular transfers from your savings account or from your checking account to your savings account. So the next piece of advice that I have is to make sure you're not only setting up automatic payments from your checking to your savings, from your checking to your stock account, but you also want to automate your bills. Obviously, this isn't going to work for everyone. If you're someone that's living paycheck to paycheck and doesn't have the money in your account to automate your bills, then this isn't going to be helpful for you. But if you have enough money, if you're making more money than you're spending every month, it's important just to put all your bills on auto pay. You want to monitor them, make sure that they're not going up, or that you're not being charged something you're not using, or that you're not paying for. But you want to make sure that you automate that. It's so easy just to have the mortgage come out on the first of the month than it is to actually write a check and mail it to them. That way is just really unheard of. Set up a 30-day rule. So 30-day rule, what does that mean? So it means this will kind of help you with impulse buying, as well as buying something that you don't really want. So what you want to do, 30-day rule, if let's say that you are like, man, I really need a new car, but you're like, I don't really know what I need. Let me research. Should I get a 2024 Toyota Tacoma? Or should I get a Prius? And then let's go shopping. You start driving around and you see a shiny new Prius and a shiny new Tacoma, and you're like, man, I think I'm gonna get the Prius. But you're like, oh, I don't know. So this is where the 30-day rule comes into effect. So take 30 days, do some research, see what's really gonna work best for you. Do I really need a new shiny truck? Or would it be better for a Prius, something better on gas? So give it 30 days. Once you've done your research, and at the end of 30 days, your emotions will be taken out of the purchase, and you'll be able to use the logical side of your brain to really understand what it is that you need. And then you'll be like, okay, I actually do need a Prius, so let me buy that. Even though I'd love to have a nice shiny orange truck, it's just not in the cards for me at this time. Let's talk about needs versus wants. So you want to audit that. You want to look at all your purchases and all your future purchases and say, what if this is actually a need, and what is something here that I actually just want? Like I just want a chocolate shake once I get off work every day. I don't need it. I can have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the house. Like it's just, you need to really sit down and analyze what you're purchasing. Is it a need or a want? Like, do you just like going to Goodwill to buy random decorations for your house? Or do you actually need those? More than likely, you're gonna find a lot of stuff on your list that is more of a want and not really a need. So let's say you're like, okay, so I figured out everything that I should stop spending money on to save money, but what do I really spend that money on? Like if I'm going with a minimalist approach, obviously you're not a fan of clutter, having a bunch of junk in your house or anything like that. So what should you spend your money on? And that would be experiences. Prioritize experiences. Going to the spa, having a spa day, traveling places, stuff like that. Experiences are definitely the way to go. Like I cannot express that enough. That's definitely what I recommend as far as what you should spend your money on. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching. I hope you follow some of these tips and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.